So we continue with the beautiful Damodar Leela. Yesterday we saw how Krishna was tied to a wooden mortar by Yashoda, and Krishna allowed himself to be conquered by the love of Yashoda, and thereby he was tied to the wooden mortar. And then Shuka Brahman briefly indicated to Parikshit that with this wooden mortar, Krishna brought down two giant trees and thereby relieved two beings who were cursed by Narada. So Parikshit asks the question as to what is the story behind it, who are these two beings and how did this happen. So Shuka Brahman describes, so it is said that once there were two sons of or two attendants of Kubera. So they were sporting in the Kailasha. So Kailasha is described very beautifully earlier too when we saw the Daksha Yajna and so on. It's a very beautiful opulent place and the abode of Shiva and Parvati where Kubera is and where many divine celestial beings are supposed to reside. And among them were two such beings. They are called Nalakubara and Manigriva. And these two, being celestial beings with divine powers, they got very proud of it and they wanted to simply enjoy it. So this is why when one has powers or wealth, it can actually not be a blessing, but it can become a curse. And this is what happened to them. They were inebriated. It is said that they took this liquor called Varuni and they were completely inebriated and they were with women sporting in the waters without any concern. And Narada walks by at that time. And when Narada walks by, they ignore Narada and they still indulge in ways which are very unbecoming of them. So Narada looks upon them and decides to bestow his grace, and therefore he gives them a curse. So this is the interesting thing. It says here, Tau drishtva madira mathau Srimadandau suratmajau tayor anugraharthaya shapam dasyan idam jagau. So these two, Suratmajau, that is two sons of the Devas, Madira Mattau, who are inebriated, who are intoxicated completely and have lost their senses, in order for them to be bestowed grace, Anugraharthaya Shapam Dasyan. So he gave a curse to give Anugraha. So this is why it is said that any contact with a sage is always grace. Even if the sage curses us, it's only for our well-being. Even if a sage scolds us, normally we see how people want to just boost the ego of the other person and placate each other's egos. But when a sage directly attacks the ego, it may sound very hurtful, but it's actually a great blessing for us. So Narada here decides to bestow his grace by cursing them. He says to them, first of all, you are both intoxicated, not just with liquor, but with wealth. Because you are with Kubera, you have all this wealth, and this wealth has intoxicated you. And because of that, you have no concern for what's right behavior. You are not using the blessings that you have been bestowed with in order to realize the higher purpose of life. You are wasting your life and you are simply enjoying in bodily pleasures. And he says how the body doesn't belong to one at all. It's simply a product of nature which is coming from Prakriti. And he says very nicely, the body has so many people contributing to it. The mother and father give the body, and their ancestors through a long line of succession have brought forth this body. All of nature cooperates in providing food for the body. The people who are there, the farmers, the workers, all of them produce whatever is necessary for the food for the body. The government, the king, whoever is responsible, he manages the affairs that ensures there is right distribution and all that. So essentially, what Narada points out is our body is a product of the whole universe, practically speaking. It takes the sun, it takes the moon, it takes rains, it takes all the farmers, the food, the delivery, everything that is necessary for our body to function. So to think that it is my body, it is a root of ignorance. And that is what happens when we identify with the body and simply seek pleasures with the body. And so Narada points out that's what you are doing. Don't you realize that this body doesn't belong to you? And not only that, it is going to either simply become ashes or dirt, depending on whether it's cremated or buried. And therefore, because you are stuck in this false idea, the best curse for you is to be in poverty. He says it is only because of pride of wealth that you are caught in this kind of behavior. So the best antidote is poverty, because those who are caught in the pride of wealth, with them the sages, the true devotees, the true Bhagavatas have nothing to do. They only go to those who have no such pride. He says, Sadhunam samachittanam mukunda charanaushinaam upekshay kim dhanasthambair asiddhir asadashrayaihi. See, asadbhir asadashrayaihi. He says, those who are sadhus, samachittanam, those who have equanimity, who are always unaffected by the highs and lows of life, mukunda charanaushinam, who are always taking the nectar of the lotus feet of Mukunda. Mukunda is the one who bestows mukti, Krishna's another name. So those who are surrendered to Mukunda, who are always of the equanimous mind and who are sadhus, they never associate with those who are proud of wealth. Dhana sthambair, those who are proud of wealth, those who have no good qualities, to them the sadhus never go. They only go to those who are completely devoid of any such pride. So it doesn't mean one has to walk away from wealth. It just means one has to not have any pride of ownership of wealth. As Yudhishthira says in the very beginning, that he says, Krishna is akinchana gocharam. So he says the one who doesn't have anything, who doesn't have a sense of ownership, for him, Krishna is easily available. Bhagavan is easily available. So whatever is there, if we think it's mine, then that is pride. One can have very small possession but still be caught in pride. Or one can be a emperor like Yudhishthira without any sense of ownership, seeing everything as belonging to Bhagavan and using the wealth only for furthering dharma. Then such a person is free of such pride. So here, because these boys were caught in pride and were simply engaging in sense gratification because of wealth, so therefore Narada tells them that you will be cursed to be as two trees, because the trees are the, one can say, the least sentient of all life forms. They cannot move anywhere. They don't have any other ways to experience but just standing still in one place. And therefore Narada tells them that you both will be simply two trees. And then not only that, he gives them the way out. He says, but not to worry. Once you realize the folly of your behavior and you repent for it, you will one day be relieved by Krishna himself. Bhagavan will appear where you are as two trees and he will liberate you from that. So with this, Narada curses them and they become trees. That's the story behind it. So when Krishna simply crawls and brings the mortar between the two trees and pulls them down. Then the two trees fall down, and these two divine beings come out. And these divine beings immediately remember all that Narada said. They offer their obeisance to Krishna, and Krishna tells them very beautifully, he says, since Narada is most beloved of me, I shall redeem the two of you as has been prophesied by him. He says, Devarishi me priyatamo yadi mau dhanatmajau tat tata sadhayishyami. So whatever the great being Narada has said, it is my duty to fulfill it. So we already saw it in so many places, how when a devotee says something, a true Bhagavata, a true Jnani, that word is more important than anything. That's why he's called Satyavratam. We saw the expression used by Brahma when he says Satyavratam, one who keeps his word. So here Narada has given the word, and keeping that word is most important. So Krishna says, and that's why you are liberated. You can now go. And these two have completely reformed because of this, and they offer a very beautiful prayer to Krishna. They say, Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Tvam Adyav Purushav Paraha Vyakta Vyaktam Vidam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. He says, you are, Hey Krishna, you are the greatest yogi, the original being. You are beyond all of this material energy. Only the true sages know you. Tvameka sarvabhutana dehaswam indriyeshwaraha tvameva kalo bhagavan Vishnu abhyaya ishwaraha. They say you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu, you are unchanging, you are the controller of all Ishwaraha, and therefore they offer a beautiful prayer. Tasmai tubhyam bhagavate vasudevaya vedase namah parama kalyana namah parama mangala vasudevaya shantaya yadunam pataye namaha. Beautiful verse again. Namah Parama Kalyana, Namah Parama Mangala. One who is full of auspiciousness and one who is full of benedictions. Vasudeva, who is the embodiment of peace himself, I offer my obeisances. And then they finally say, in a very beautiful verse, he says, from now on, let our speech be employed only in narrating your excellence, our ears in only hearing your stories, our hands in doing only your seva, your work, our mind only in contemplating on you and your lotus feet, our head in only bowing to the whole world, seeing it as you, and our sight only in beholding sages and saints, who are your very embodiments. They say, Vani Gunanu Katane, Shravanau Kathayam, Hastaucha Karmasu Manastva Padayornaha, Smrityam Shirastava Nivasa Jagat Praname Drishti Satam Darshanestu Bhavat Tanunam. We may remember Ambarish said a similar words, and he in fact lived in this way all through, engaging every sense only in remembering, contemplating, seeing, listening to, and serving Bhagavan and his devotees. This is the direct way given by Bhagavatam in many places. Rather than try to control the senses or the mind, if we simply engage the senses and the mind in divine activities, whether it is listening to such texts as Bhagavatam, seeing, as he says, saints, offering service through our hands and legs, remembering, and in every way, therefore, engaging the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Every sense was described by Ambarish too. So in every sense, and similarly with thought, word and speech, if all of them are engaged only in connecting with the divine, then we are free without trying to control anything. So this is the way of Bhagavatam given in many places. Here these two boys who have now matured also give the same teaching, and with that they go away. And Krishna also blesses them and says, realize that you've been liberated because of the grace of Narada. See, very beautifully, Krishna says it's not by Krishna's grace, but by Narada's grace that they were liberated. He says, Sadhunam, Samachittanam, Sutaram, Matkritatmanam, Darshanano Bhaved Bantah Pumsakshano Savituryatha. He says beautifully, just as sun, Savitu Yatha means as the sun dispels darkness, Darshana no bhaved bandhav pumsa kshano. In a moment, the bondage of a person is removed by contact with a sage. So it is the sage who delivers and who gives us the vision of Bhagavan within. So it is Narada who gave them the vision of Krishna both outwardly and inwardly as the essence of the whole universe and their very being. So in this way, Krishna, through this beautiful Damodar Leela, liberates these two beings and they fly away. And then, of course, everybody comes out and they see these two trees have fallen. And again, as always, there are a few boys who saw these two trees fall down because of Krishna. And they say, no, it's Krishna who brought it down. And of course, Nanda and Yashoda don't believe it. They say, what are we talking about? These two trees have fallen. I'm so happy that they didn't fall on Krishna. Our little boy was saved. So they again take Krishna and they do whatever they can do to, in their own sweet way, remove any evil influences and whatever they do. And they again take Krishna, and Krishna also silently remains, as always, indulging in the Vatsalya Rasa, the maternal and paternal love of Nanda and Yashoda. And with this, beautifully, Damodar Leela ends. We saw Damodar Ashtakam yesterday, the first 4 verses, which spoke of the first part of these pastimes of being bound by Yashoda and then being tied to a wooden mortar. Then the remaining 4 verses talk about whatever we saw today. So we'll just look at those 4 verses too. This is again from Padma Purana. So it says here, Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilair vratam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopya muhushchumbitam binja raktadharam me manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai. He again says here that the lotus face of Krishna, which is always kissed by the mother Yashoda, and his lips that are reddish, may this vision remain in me, and there is no other benediction necessary. He says, Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam Kripadristi Vrishtyati Dhinam Vatanu Grihanesha Mam Agnyam Edyakshi Drishya. He says, I offer obeisances to Damodara, Ananta, Vishnu. O Lord, please shower only your mercy upon me to remove false identification with the world. Then it refers to this pastime we just saw. Kuberatmajau Baddha Murtyaiva Yadvad Tvaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajau Kritau Cha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakam Me Prayacha Namokshe Griho Mesti Damodara Iha. He says, O Damodara, as the 2 boys of Kubera, Manigriva and Nalakuvara, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you, tied with a rope to a wooden mortar. In the same way, please give me Prema Bhakti. I only long for this and no other liberation. He says, we saw the 2 boys were given loving devotion. So when one is given Prema Bhakti or loving devotion, then even the desire for liberation is not there, because there is no separation anymore to seek liberation. There is only the vision of one Bhagavan as all there is. Everything, everywhere is seen as the expression of the one Supreme Being. And all there is just Bhagavan. God alone is. And then everything is engaged in expressing unconditional love. So the last verse of Damodar Ashtakam Namaste astu dhamne Spuradipti dhamne Tvadiyo udarayatha Vishwasya dhamne Namo radhikayai Tvadiya priyayai Namonanta leelaya devaya tubhyam. He says, I offer my obeisances to that rope. Astu dhamne, namaste astu dhamne. To the rope I offer obeisances. I offer obeisance to that wooden mortar. I offer obeisances to your very belly, udara, which is the abode of the entire universe. I offer obeisances to Radhika. So that is indicated. It is the next, or it takes a little while to come to the sweet pastimes of the gopis and Radhika, but it is given a glimpse of Namo Radhikayai, divine Radhika, who is your beloved, and Namo Damodara. And thereby I offer my obeisances to Damodara. In this way, Damodara Leela completes.